morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Friday, January 6th, 2017.
Commissioner Rivas, repenting James, Davis, and that's it, Davis. So we do have 4 commissioners present, and we do have a quorum, Mr. President. May we start with Bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning. Hector Bain-Willows, Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, Ali VC, LA Sanitation.
Good morning, Alfred Mata, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Kimberly Fitzpatrick, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. Mr. President, we did not receive any speaker cards under general public comment. We also do not have any commentary under the Neighborhood Council section and no speaker cards under the general agenda items.
Okay, then let's close general public comment as well as the Neighborhood Council category of commentary. Our first item of business, the approval of the meeting minutes from 2 meetings, Monday, December 5th, 2016, and Wednesday, December 7th, 2016. Is there a second to my motion that we approve the meeting minutes for both of those from Commissioner Repenning? Any objection? Without objection, those meeting minutes will be approved. Agenda item number 4. Walters Wholesale Electric Company has transmitted a stop notice in the amount of $43,500.62 for furnishing electrical supplies in connection with the Laurel Canyon Boulevard Bridge widening over Tahunga Wash Project. The contractor is CPO Enterprises Incorporated. Is there a second to my motion that we receive agenda item number 4 forthwith? By Commissioner Davis, any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 3, specifications are submitted for board adoption and authorization to advertise for the invitation of bids. This project is in Council District 15 for the San Pedro 3rd Street Relief Storm Drain Project. The estimate is $1,336,364. The bid receipt date is Wednesday, February 8th, 2017. Is there a second to my motion that we adopt agenda item number 3 forthwith? By Commissioners Davis and Repenning. Any objection? Without objection, we will do that. Agenda item number 2, Bureaus of Sanitation and Office of Accounting, removal of uncollectible account receivable balances of less than $5,000 owed by industrial users, recommending that the board forward the report to the Collections Board of Review and request that the board authorize the directors of the Bureau of Sanitation and Office of Accounting to administratively remove from their accounts receivable and other city records the delinquent industrial wastewater fee balances that are less than $5,000, older than 3 years in age, and owed by industrial users with inactive industrial wastewater permits, as listed in the transmittal. The total is $17,162.04. Sonny Babarabi. Hey there.
Mr. President, Commissioners,
Happy New Year.
Bureau Executive, good morning. The Bureau of Sanitation requests that the board forward this report to the Collections Board of Review to authorize sanitation and accounting to remove the delinquent accounts in our system. These permits have been terminated, meaning the business has been out of business, or they had a change of ownership, or have filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. These accounts have been referred to the collection agencies, and the collection agencies have returned the files as uncollectible. So we request that the board forward this report in the amount of $17,162.04.
Any questions? I'm always looking at the list just to see if there's anybody that looks like they might have some source to be able to collect from. The one that stands out here, other than the fact that I guess it's news that Buddha's Belly closed, Fountain Body and Repair, that is constant. We have a lot of due dates for Fountain Body and Repair that adds up significantly greater than all of the others.
For fountain body repair, this is one of the permits that the Board of Public Works revoked last year, and they have decided to close business, and that's why the collection agencies were not able to collect any fees from them, so that's why we're submitting it to the Collections Board of Review for write-off.
So while they were obviously not a stellar business and they're keeping compliant, looks like with their shutting down or at least moving. Do we know if they shut down or if they just moved?
They're not in the location where they used to be. We're not sure if they have moved somewhere. The inspector informed us they moved outside of the city of Los Angeles.
Even if they move outside the city of Los Angeles, though, the debt would still be collectible if they exist. Do we feel like we've exhausted everything we can do to
We've
collect from them?
exhausted, and also the statute of limitation of 3 years applies to these accounts. So legally, if we pursue it and goes to the court and the customer claims for the 3-year statute of limitation, then even the office of the city attorney won't handle the collection activities.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any questions?
No, I just wanted to comment that obviously, we always want to make sure that we are the keepers of watching the city's money. But however, looking at the challenges you have in operations in our work, the fact that these that you are recommended are, first of all, under $5,000, and that secondly, and most importantly, each and every one of these are inactive because they no longer are operating, nor do they have permits to do business. So to that degree, I think that this is a safe assumption that it would be appropriate that we would dismiss these given the fact that they have no vitality.
Thank you.
Anything further? Is there a motion on this agenda item number 2? By Commissioner Repenning, I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 2. Any issue sending it forthwith?
Thank you, Commissioners.
Number 2 forthwith. All right. Thank you, sir. Agenda item number 1 from the Bureau of Engineering and the Bureau of Contract Administration in Council District 14. Authority to issue construction task order package number 5 and to execute amendment number 1 with Skanska, Stacy, and Whitbeck for the 6th Street Viaduct Replacement Project, recommending that the board first authorize the city engineer to issue a construction task order package number 5, new viaduct, to Skanska, Stacy, and Whitbeck from the construction manager, general contractor, to construct the new viaduct for $190,950,000. Number 2, request the Board of Public Works to request Skanska, Stacy, and Whitbeck to submit the required bonds and insurance documents. And number 3, concur with the action by the mayor and the city council authorizing amendment number 1 to the contract between the city of Los Angeles and Skanska, Stacy, and Whitbeck to extend the contract by 2 years for a revised expiration date of December 31, 2021, and to increase the contract ceiling to $300 million. Julie Allen, and I see our city engineer, Gary Lee Moore, as well. Mr. Moore.
Good morning and Happy New Year. Gary Lee Moore, city engineer. It's wonderful to be here. During the holidays, I watched a little sports here and there, and when they had championship or games, they would have all these confetti coming down from the ceilings and so forth. I was at this moment, I think Julie and Alfred would join me along with Lawrence from Skanska, Stacy, and Whitbeck. I feel like we should have banners and streamers coming down. It was a hard-fought negotiations to bring us here today. Just a couple thank yous, and then Julie, who's will give the actual presentation this morning, is our partner in this, and the funding from this project is a real great partner in the FHWA, Federal Highway Administration, and over $400 million coming from them, along with our partner. Yes.
There's your confetti.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I feel it now. I feel it. And we don't have to clean up either. So
Oh, there you go.
It's a wonderful feeling.
It's red and white. Is that okay?
That works.
Okay,
That
all
works
right.
today. And of course, Caltrans, who's another acting for FHWA through the state, along with their contributions, is a big partner in this, and I definitely want to thank them. There's a tremendous amount of documentation that they've reviewed, provided by our team. When you come into the city family, I definitely want to thank the mayor and the city council, and especially Council District 14 and Councilman Weezar. There was, at the end of this negotiation, additional funding was needed, and I really want to thank the mayor and the city council and Councilman Weezar for their leadership in assisting us with filling the funding gap that was created. And, finally, I just want to thank also John Reamer and the entire Bureau of Contract Administration. We're inseparable. We are partners. And John and his team, we're all located. Thank you. I was thinking of El Pollo Loco, but no, that's not. That's a whole different thing. That's later. Out at the job site where the contractor, the Bureau of Contract Administration, and the Bureau of Engineering all sit in the same office. It's a wonderful situation, and you can resolve issues very quickly, and it's a seamless. Of course, during these negotiations, it was made it even more interesting, right, Julie, being so closely collated, but it's a great team. Deputy City Engineer Alfred Mata, who's oversees, along with his other divisions, the 6th Street project. Alfred has been there through all the negotiations together. But finally, I want to thank Julie. I'll put Julie up, and I think Lawrence will vouch for this from SSW. Julie was outstanding during these negotiations, and her leadership on the project is why we're on schedule, is because of her. You know, we just finished demolition on this project, and we said we finished in December, and we finished in December. And she has gone up against a very experienced team on our contractor side, and Julie, I can tell you, has fought for every penny. And this is a very fair agreement today, but it's because of Julie's hard work and why we're here today. And so with that, Julie, I want to give the report.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary, for those very kind words. It's actually a huge team, including a lot of close support from Gary in his free time that he has none. So I do appreciate the opportunity to be here today and present to you our recommendation to award the viaduct package to Skanska, Stacy, and Whitbeck for $190,950,000. And as Gary mentioned, we went through a long negotiation process, and we feel that this is a very fair price for delivering the viaduct. It's a significant milestone for the project. It's been over 10 years of planning and environmental studies, and now we've completed several advanced packages, including all the detouring for the detour improvements, as well as demolition of the viaduct. We've demolished 13 buildings so far and done all the utility relocations except for one that have been required for the project. And now before us today is the award of the large viaduct structure, which will install the 3,500-foot-long new viaduct structure, seismic isolation bearings under each column, as well as 2 ramp structures on the east side of the river and 1 ramp structure on the west, and 5 sets of stairs from the deck down to the ground. And this is the 8th package, construction package, that will be awarded as part of the contract for a total value of $262,116,000, including the pre-construction services. And the DBE goal that was established for this package was 23.72%, which is a very high percentage for a large-scale project. And I'm happy to report that the contractor has exceeded this amount and has pledged 23.95% for this package, which equates to about $45 million in DBE subcontracted work just for this package alone, in addition to the work that's being issued in the other packages. In addition, the contractor has been exceeding the PLA goal of 5% of disadvantaged veteran craft worker hours. The goal in the PLA is 5%, and the latest report is that they have achieved 23% of craft labor hours for this project, so we're very proud of the contractor's accomplishments in this area. As Gary mentioned, the required funding for this award, as well as the authorization for the contract amendment, have previously been approved by City Council. That was on December 13th of 2016, and that was concurred by the mayor on December 19th. So at this time, we are happily recommending award of the viaduct package to SSW, and the contractor is here, Lawrence Demore, if you have any questions of him as well, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Julie, just to really one or two, maybe more just a comment to begin with. You've been, and the Bureau has been before the board over the years a number of times with this project for a wide variety of things. We're pleased to see the project progressing. I indicated to Julie yesterday, I'd like to, it's been a few weeks, at least a couple weeks since I've been out, and I haven't seen the complete demolition, so I think it's time for another walking tour of the area for me. But really just to thank you for all the coordination. But regarding the federal funding for the project, are we still in the 90% range? Are we still in that range for the federal funding that's going to be the reimbursement package that we will receive?
Yes, overall the project budget is $482 million. Of that, the federal and state funding provides $428 million, or 89% of the overall cost of the project. So
I guess I should say federal and state, because
correct,
Caltrans.
yeah, we have state matching.
So we're at
federal
89%?
funds. Correct.
That's pretty close to 90. Okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner Penning.
Hi, Julie. I was wondering if you could give us an update. I know there's been some progress made on the Arts Plaza that is going to be built underneath the bridge for the community to enjoy. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the progress that you've made on that?
Sure, absolutely. In fact, we are going to be providing a tour for the community tomorrow and starting our outreach meetings with the community groups to be able to get input from the community on what amenities they would like to be included. And on Monday before the board will be the request to authorize the design task order solicitation to Tetra Tech, who's our selected design consultant. And we actually have begun under the City Engineers Authority the beginning schematic design and the environmental studies that are needed to complete the CEQA and NEPA environmental documentation. So that process is moving forward now. We intend to continue with the community outreach early this year and proceed into the design and the environmental studies with the intent that the design will be progressing as we're working on the construction of the viaduct. And as areas of the viaduct become available later, in a few years, then we'll be able to implement as much of the landscaping as we can while the viaduct construction is moving forward.
And we were able to benefit from some private funding on that, correct?
Absolutely. Currently we have about a little under $2 million of federal funds. We have grant funding from Proposition K. We have grant funding that we achieved from Leonard Hill that came through the Mayor's Fund. And we're also looking for other opportunities for grants during the next few years to be able to continue to supplement funding to improve the facilities that we can provide.
Maybe the new county bond?
We will certainly look for any opportunities that we can. Quimby funds, city funds, other county, state, federal funds that we'll have during the next few years. We'll be looking at any opportunities we can for additional funding. Yes, Councilman Weezar's office is extremely active in helping us apply for grants. And we're also going through active transportation grants, not just for the landscaping, but for connections of bicycle and pedestrian facilities to and from the viaduct, going from 4th down to 7th Street through the viaduct area to not only enhance the landscaping, but just access to the bridge itself for the community.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Penning. Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Anything?
Well, I just wanted to comment that it's always good for us to have these projects, and most often I am pleased with the work that is being done in creating opportunities in the disadvantaged business enterprises, and I see that we have made a great effort to do that, and I know that as we move forward that we will continue to do the same.
Absolutely.
And so the federal government's model for us is always a good one, and it always results in representative participation from those businesses. So, and I thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Is there a motion on agenda item? I'll make the motion on agenda item number 1, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? With that objection, we'll adopt agenda item 1. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 1 forthwith.
Thank you very much.
Now's the time for all the red and white confetti that I have on my phone, right? All right. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Gary. We'll move along on this. All right. Thank you. Mr. Executive Officer, where we just have one general public comment? So we have one general public comment card that came in late. I'll reopen general public comment for the 2 minutes. So we'll start that now. Mr. Executive Officer, Ms. Renee, you're up.
I was hoping, actually, I wasn't late. I was here for the 10:15 meeting, and I wanted to make sure I told you in front of management meeting because I was hoping Gary Lee Moore, who just walked out the door, would be here because I brought it to his staff's attention. There's a problem over at Pacific Coast Highway at the Palisades Bowl Mobile Estates. The reason it's so important is that you have a fairly expensive BOE report done by Fugro, who was the people who brought down the La Conchita landslide. They've cut the entire toe of the bluff away. There's nothing shoring it up. Over 700 feet, 800 feet is missing. And what they've done is they've cut the hill and they're putting fill back up against it. And there's one area that the cut is 60 feet high, 50 feet high, somewhere in that. And I brought it to every single department's attention and they refuse to inspect it. So you have a changed condition. This report, I've given you a copy of it's dated August 24th, 2016, is no longer valid. It's no longer valid because the whole toe of the slope is gone. So make sure you tell Fugro, Moffitt and Nickel, and your BOE, and Gary Moore, who I wish he was here. And the reason it's important is it's an active landslide. It says active slope movement, and that's now. And so, you've got a picture in here. It's a packet. All of you have it. If you could send an inspector there immediately, because what they do is they cut the hill, and then they put fill back up against it so you can't see what's going to happen. So it looks like you're actually trying to bring down the whole Pacific Palisades hillside. If I didn't believe in my city, I would actually think you were trying to cause a disaster so that you could get federal money, or that you could get the oil, or you could wipe out the low-income people. My name is Leah Renee. Please, 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 before the cover of the LA Times says we're about to get a Pineapple Express rain, and I don't want to be the person that said nobody knew, there was one person who knew. I don't want to be that person. Please be the people who know and did something about it. Thank you very much. I'll put it online if you want to see video of it. But you've all got copies of the reports. I took it to your Bureau of Engineering Street Surfaces, and they told me to bring it to you today. So that's why I'm here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Executive Officer, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
Okay, so we'll close general public comment, and we are adjourned.